All right, guys, we are here up at Welder Chris's shop. I haven't been getting a lot of footage of this just because he's been working on it, but as you can see here, he has that whole side of the truck replated and welded in. You can see he added in some 1/4-inch plate there and totally solidified it. So you can see here, this is the other side he still needs to do, and you can see the crack and everything. So that's what we're fixing. He also straightened out the frame rails that were bent a little bit because of the crack and lack of support. So he's cruising right along.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. You just saw that little clip there of me over at Welder Chris's shop with the International. He has been hard at work getting everything back straight and true and plumb. And then, obviously fixing that cross member on the, hook lift there, because it was all cracked and warped, and it's turned into a little bit more of a project than I initially anticipated. As he kept looking more and more into it, he kept finding more and more cracks and weak spots. So we're getting it all fixed up once and for all. I had to stop by there because I had left a lot of my tree work, climbing gear and stuff in the truck, because I didn't think it was going to be up there for that long. But basically what we're going to do is I'm driving in some really nice country roads here in New York State, and we are heading up to a viewer's property, actually. He reached out a couple weeks ago when I posted that video after Sarah and I got back from the honeymoon, where I was fixing up the driveway from that big rain that we had, and I used the Wood's rear blade to kind of do so. It did the job, but I said in the video that I really would love to have a land plane at some point to just help maintain our gravel driveway and the asphalt millings area back there in the wood yard. A land plane is really would be the ticket. That's the implement that I think would work the best, rather than a box blade or that rear blade, which is kind of aggressive. So this guy reached out to me and he said, "Hey Jake, I have a Woods land plane that I don't really use anymore. I think he might have moved or something, where he no longer has a gravel driveway he needs to maintain. Sorry, the roads are kind of bumpy." And he was like, "I got a couple trees that I actually need dropped that are a little out of my skill set. So if you'd be willing to do a barter, some tree work for a land plane, we can make something happen." So we spoke on the phone, and here we are. We're headed up. I got my climbing gear. I got a bunch of saws and ropes and stuff. He sent me a couple videos. It doesn't look like anything too crazy, but there are, some power lines involved, and I guess his neighbor's propane tank. So we do want to be careful and cognizant about that. So once we get there, I will show you what the game plan's going to be, and hopefully we'll be leaving with a land plane in the back of the truck this afternoon. All right, guys, we are here. I'm joined here by Jacob. We are at his property here, and what do we got? We got some tree work we're going to do, right?
We have some tree work to do, so it's a little bit of a barter deal. I've got 2 trees that are kind of an obstruction to my power line, as well as my neighbor's propane tank and garage at their property. Jake needs a land plane. I have a land plane that I have no use for on my property, so I figured, why not? So I ended up emailing him, seeing if he wanted to barter a deal, because we're about, what, hour?
If I drove here just straight and didn't make that stop, it probably would have been like 40 minutes.
Okay,
not
so
too bad.
Yeah, 40 minutes, an hour apart. So
yeah.
See if he was interested. Took pictures of the trees, video, the land plane, and here we are on finally a sunny day.
Yeah, and you got a great property here. He's got a lot of cool toys. Little Coyote tractor back there. He's got a nice wood shop, little sawmill. So you're up here in hog heaven.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of the sawmill. I'd love to get one of those in the wood yard.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the sawmill was mine, but it's my neighbor's. But he's clearing property and needed it out of the way, so I had trees I wanted to mill, and that's what I've been doing for the past month. Bunch of cherry, red oak, white oak, and ash.
Nice. Well, it's kind of like a boat. It's nice to have a friend with a boat that you have access to. So here you got a sawmill on your property, but it's not even yours. So
not even mine.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna show you what the first tree is gonna be. It's a maple spar. It's a little punky, but we got a game plan. So let me show you what we got going on. So here we are right off the driveway. It kind of drops down a little bit. But you can see that spar right there for the maple, and we got a house drop power line here. So the backside has some mushrooms and stuff on it. It's a little punky on the backside there, but you can see there's that beech tree right next to it. So my plan is to tie into the beech tree. I'll spike up the maple as high up as I feel comfortable, and then we'll take a big top and just kind of flop it down in this general area down here, where it won't hit the power lines, and then we'll drop the remaining stick and Jacob can clean it up with his tractor and Wicked Grapple. All right, guys, today we're going to be using the new Stihl MS A220TC. This is the battery-powered topper. We got the AP 500S battery in it, which is the big boy. So we'll be climbing with that and cutting in style and silence. Got some more gear here. I got the 500i for the flush cuts. Brought the old 200 topper and my 201 TC. So we got 3 topping saws and a bunch of rigging gear. Here we go. Since this tree is already dead and we're fully taking it down, I make my life a little easier and use my spikes to spike up it as opposed to not. Now, if we were pruning a tree or the tree wasn't already dead or we weren't going to be completely cutting it down and removing it, I would never use spikes. Spikes can do a lot of damage to a tree if you're planning on keeping it living, so to speak. So I'm also wearing my Arborwear Ironwood chainsaw pants, guys. These things are great, especially this time of year, because they can get a little bit warm, but this time of year they're perfect. Climbing system I'm using here is a micro pulley with an eye-to-eye. I believe this is maybe a 28-inch eye-to-eye, and I use the VT knot, the Val Terrestrian, I think it's called. I just call it a VT. Friction knot. You can see it goes up and then it tightens up. So I'm gonna clip in right here. Test my tie-in point. Pretty good. It's beech. I'm going to tie off the 500 on my rope so I don't actually have to climb up with it. I'll just pull it up once I'm set. Got my chainsaw lanyard. We're good to go. So I'm going to come over here and we'll get going. Oh yeah, this thing is punky.
Punky or pucker?
Definitely wouldn't want to climb this without another tree to tie into. See this backside all hollow and rotten.
I'd like to get up a little bit above this hollow pocket. Just we're working with some semblance of solid wood, even though this thing is pretty punky. Pretty good with that. Pull up my saw.
Basically, the safety is if something happens below you, you've got your link there, so if something happens,
Yeah, I would never tie into a tree that's this unstable, but if this thing were to fall or anything were to happen, I'm not tied into this. I'm tied into the beach right here. I got a nice short, so I just readjusted my tie-in point. So, you know, theoretically I would be good. Technically, I am still attached with my buck strap here to this one. So, hoping that it doesn't, nothing happens, but, you know, back up, we're always right here. So,
if something happened below you, in terms of the tree was to buckle for some reason unsafe, you do a nice little swing ride out of it.
right. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that nothing happens. Good? There we go, guys. Not too bad. There was not much holding wood. My whole hinge, you can see, I had holding wood here and here, pretty even along the whole thing. And because this tree is just so punky, you can see it's actually got some ambrosia markings and stuff. It's unfortunately probably a little too far gone for woodworking or turning purposes, but you know, my whole hinge wood just disintegrated. I didn't cut through it. You can see I stopped my cut nice and even. You know, said it before, every box tells a story, and this one saying that tree was pretty rotten. All right, let's head down. So now we're gonna be totally tied into the beach. Back in. Okay. Trying to walk carefully on these rocks here, not to dull my spikes too bad. All right. stuff.
I always like to put my rope back in the bag after every climb. Just feel it as I put it back in. Kind of a good way to test. Make sure that you didn't nick it or anything every time, because safety first.
Like me, I just roll it up and it's a knot.
Yeah, well, even when I was taking it out, somehow there was a big knot in it. So I had to pull it back, you know, stuff happens. You know, especially with like production tree work like I do for my side jobs, you know, we're trying to be as safe as possible, but also move as quickly as possible, right, while being safe. So, and while trying to film. Right, and while trying to film. And sometimes it's obvious that filming on the tree jobs takes a back seat, because like I just don't have time.
Yeah, that's the hard part about it. I mean,
yeah.
You know. This one day.
It's oak. Yeah, I mean it's got a pretty tight included bark crotch there. You can see where the split kind of starts below that whole big green section. So all that is what we call included bark. So there's no holding wood there. Might be a good candidate for a cable, because that way both stems will. Cables aren't so much for holding a tree up. If it breaks, it's for preventing it from breaking by keeping those two stems moving in unison together as opposed to separately. Okay guys, got the first one done. Everything loaded up into the big tool rack here. It's a pretty similar setup to mine, except he's got a Coyote, I've got the Kubota, but we both got the orange big tool rack and the everything attachments Wicked Grapple. So this will make it easy to get everything down to that second tree job. Here we go. Jacob has a beautiful property here. Here's that sawmill that we were talking about. Valley Portable Sawmills. Little Blue. I've never heard of this brand. Let me know if you guys have heard of the brand. Looks like a nice little mill. Beautiful little stream and kind of pond here. Little bridge going over the driveway. Water's pretty high from all the rain that we've had. It's really nice. Okay guys, here's the second culprit. We got this big gnarly willow that has definitely seen better days, but there's a spar here that at one point broke out, and now the woodpeckers have been attacking it pretty good. Jacob's property is over there with the tractor obviously, but the concern here is his neighbor's propane tank. So I think the plan of action is gonna be just get a rope up in the top of it. We have a little landing zone right here on the other side of the wall, and I'll stand up on the wall and make a cut. We'll just kind of drop the whole spar. Jacob will pull on it with the rope. So I'll get a rope set.
How much do we need to pull in order to do it?
Pull as hard as you can. I'll tell you when. You don't have to pull yet, but all right guys, I got a rope up in this thing. It was a real struggle. Every time I got the throw line, caught on a little nub or something, it just broke off because this thing is so rotten. But I actually pulled the throw line through the tree, and I don't know if you can see that crack there, but that throw line created that crack. But we got it around the whole trunk. Jacob's over here, he's gonna pull it. The only goal with this setup is to not hit the propane tank. So as long as we don't hit the propane tank, it'll be a success, right?
Yeah, I just told my neighbor, I said, we won't hit the propane tank. Let's hopefully not hit the propane tank.
Yeah, this thing is crumbling, as you can see down there, so we should be able to get it. Here we go.
Go. Yeah, I didn't hit.
Okay. We didn't hit the propane tank. Everything else went wrong, but we didn't hit the propane tank.
Yeah.
That thing was really rotten. Coyote CK 3510, getting it done. The Everything Attachments Wicked Grapple. Here comes Jacob with the my new to me Woods land plane. He clearly doesn't need it anymore, considering he has this nice big asphalt driveway. So I always like doing a good old barter deal, and I think this one, both parties are pretty happy. We'll check it out when it gets a little closer. So this thing looks pretty nice. It's a 60-inch, which will just cover the width of the tractor. But I think we're gonna have to load it in sideways because my truck bed is not 5 feet wide. Here comes the new Woods land plane. Looks like it should fit into the bed of the old Super Duty. We got it strapped up. It's looking pretty good. Okay guys, we got it in the back of the truck. Got all the gear loaded up. What do you think, Jacob? You happy?
I'm happy.
I'm happy. Thank you.
Yeah.
As long as both parties are happy with the barter, that's all that matters, you know?
All that matters.
Exactly. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, same to you. And the good thing is I ran into my neighbor when we were over there, and she was been worried about it falling on her tank.
Right.
Unfortunately, we got it down. It's pretty rotten. So.
Yeah, it was very rotten. That thing was not long for life. If it was a little bit longer, it probably would have taken itself down. It was pretty rotten, but I'm glad we got both of them down, and now you got a little cleanup to do, but shouldn't be too bad with your setup here.
Yeah, I would get to it today, but it is a swamp in the back of the property, and I'm already creating mud tracks.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain. It's got to dry out a bit.
I don't need speed bumps for the mower, so
exactly.
That wood will sit there until we dry out for a couple weeks.
Cool.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate coming out. Appreciate the help.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out and supporting the channel. And you said you've been watching for a while, so you don't know how much that means to me. Thank you.
Number of years.
Got to grab you a couple stickers before I leave.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully that serves you a better purpose than it did me.
I think it
basically sitting there doing nothing for the last couple years. So
yeah, I think it'll be great. I can't wait to get it unloaded and start leveling out the driveway. And we got a couple projects starting up related to that drainage issue. I think it'll be nice to final grade, the new lawn and stuff, and the wood yard, and it'll be put to good use. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. As long as somebody else can use it, go for it, because it was doing nothing but sitting in my way. So cool, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Great morning. Great getting to meet Jacob. He's a really cool guy, into a lot of the same stuff that I think, a lot of us are. And that's what's so awesome about this whole YouTube and firewood community. He said he's been watching the channel for years. And, everybody just kind of has similar interests, similar equipment, but we all kind of do things our own way. And it's just awesome getting to meet people like Jacob, and when we go out to these shows like the Woodsman Field Days or Paul Bunyan. So I'm really looking forward to getting this land plane hooked up to the back of the tractor and trying it out. I think Jacob was pretty happy that we got those trees down before the winter storms come. And all in all, I think it was a pretty successful barter and meetup, and just everything else associated with it. So Jacob, again, thanks so much for reaching out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. Any questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down in that comment section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.